OMG, babe, so sorry.
My wife's fun night out nearly cost my career, so I took her entire livelihood at 6 a.m. on the most important day of my professional life. I was supposed to be calmly driving to my final licensure exam. Instead, I was standing in an empty house. My wife was missing, my car was gone, and my entire future was hanging by a thread. I had no idea that her drunken mistake was actually a calculated betrayal, one that would end with me making damn sure she lost everything. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We all place an immense amount of trust in our partners, believing they'll be our rock in life's most critical moments. If you believe that loyalty is non-negotiable, show your support by hitting that like button. It really helps our community grow. Now, let's dive into this insane story. My name is Liam, I'm 32, and the woman I used to call my wife is Chloe, 31. Our story started like a fairy tale. We were college sweethearts, drawn together by a shared ambition. I was the aspiring architect, spending countless nights building intricate models, and she was the brilliant baker, turning our tiny dorm kitchen into a wonderland of scents and flavors. We were a team. We fell in love fast and hard, a pure, foundational love that felt unshakable. I remember one time, during my final year, I was on the verge of a breakdown over a major design project. I hadn't slept in 2 days. Chloe found me slumped over my desk at 3 a.m. She didn't just tell me to get some rest. She quietly started baking, filling the apartment with the warm smell of cinnamon. She sat with me until sunrise, talking through my design challenges and feeding me fresh pastries. That was the woman I married a few years after we graduated. Life after the wedding was a hustle. I landed a coveted position at a high-pressure architecture firm. It was a place with a clear up or out culture. You either dedicated your life to the craft, or you'd be replaced by someone who would. I had a long conversation with Chloe about it. This is our shot, I told her, holding her hands. If I sacrifice now, if I work the insane hours and climb this ladder, in 10 years, we won't have to worry about a single thing. We can buy our dream house, start a family, and you can open that beautiful bakery you've always wanted. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and promised she understood. She was my rock, and I tried to be hers. No matter how exhausted I was from a 14-hour workday, if she said she wanted to have a date night or just needed me home, I dropped everything. Our future was a joint project, and I was committed to doing the heavy lifting on the financial side. Chloe, true to her passion, wasn't meant for a desk job. She started her home-based baking business, Chloe's Cravings. Her talent was undeniable. Word spread like wildfire on social media, and soon, her order book was overflowing. It became clear she needed a real, physical location to take the next step. A brick-and-mortar shop was financially out of reach. The rent in our city was soul-crushing. But I refused to let her dream stall. My Uncle Ben, a retired mechanic, had an old food truck collecting dust on his property on the other side of the state. It was a long shot, but these things cost a fortune new. I took a weekend off, drove 4 hours to his place, and we worked tirelessly to get the beast roadworthy. Driving it back was an adventure in itself, but seeing the look on Chloe's face made it all worth it. We signed a friendly lease agreement for a symbolic $500 a year. She poured her heart into renovating it, painting it a charming pastel blue, and launching it to massive success. This brings us to a critical point: our finances. We were a one-car household, living primarily on my salary. Her profits were being funneled back into growing her business. The car was mine, but it was also ours. When I was working from home or didn't need it, she used it for everything: errands, supplies, visiting friends. It was a system built on trust and communication. A system that was about to catastrophically fail. I was preparing for the final, most grueling test of my career, the architect registration examination. This wasn't just a test, it was the gateway. It was the culmination of 8 years of education and apprenticeship. Passing meant a promotion to senior architect, a salary that would nearly double my income, and the financial security to finally start living the life we had planned. The exam was on a Monday morning. The weekend prior, our apartment became my command center. Blueprints and textbooks covered every surface. On Saturday afternoon, Chloe approached me, looking apologetic for interrupting. She wanted to blow off some steam with her girlfriends. "I'll be out of your hair so you can focus," she said with a sweet smile. "Is it okay if I take the car?" "Of course, honey. I said, barely looking up from my notes. Have fun. You deserve it. The quiet would be good for me. I gave her the keys, she kissed my forehead, and left around 2 p.m. I was so absorbed in my work that I lost all track of time. It wasn't until 7 p.m., when my stomach started growling, that I glanced at my phone. I hadn't heard from her. I sent a quick text. Hey, hope you're having fun. Just a reminder that I need to leave by 8 a.m. tomorrow for the big exam. Please be careful, don't drink too much so you can get home safely tonight. Her reply was quick and reassuring. Don't you worry about a thing. Have fun studying. I'll be back tonight for sure. Love you. That was all I needed. I trusted her. I ordered food, ate while studying, and pushed myself until my vision blurred. At 11 p.m., I sat on the couch to rest my eyes for just a moment. That moment turned into 7 hours. I was jolted awake by the shrill sound of my 6 a.m. alarm. Exam day. The first thing I registered was the profound silence. I looked at the dining table, still a chaotic mess of my study materials. If Chloe had come home, she would have tidied it. A cold, sharp spike of anxiety hit me. I bolted upstairs. The bedroom was dark and empty. Our bed was perfectly made, untouched. My hand was trembling as I grabbed my phone. There was a single text, sent at 3:17 a.m. OMG, babe, so sorry. Had way too much fun and am too drunk to drive. Staying at a friend's. I'll leave super early and get the car to you with plenty of time to spare. I promise. Hugs and kisses, panic set in. I am a planner. My entire morning was scheduled down to the minute to ensure I arrived at the exam center calm, focused, and ready. This 11th hour chaos was my worst nightmare. I tried to steady my breathing. Okay, Liam, just get ready. She said she'll be here. I showered, meticulously laid out my suit, forced down a bagel that tasted like cardboard, and tried to do a final review of my notes. But the words just swam on the page. An hour to go. The testing center was a 20-minute drive. My rule is to always be 30 minutes early. The window was closing fast. I texted her. Chloe, where are you? I need to leave in the next 15 minutes. No reply. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. My heart started hammering against my ribs. I called 5, 6, 7 times in rapid succession, my thumb jabbing at the screen. Nothing. My mind was a vortex of terrible possibilities. Was she in a ditch somewhere? Had something awful happened? I considered taking her food truck. The image of me, pulling up to the National Testing Center in a bright blue cupcake truck, flashed in my mind. The sheer unprofessionalism, the humiliation, I couldn't do it. With 40 minutes left, my phone finally rang. It was her. Where are you? I yelled, forgoing any greeting. Babe, I'm so sorry. I'm on my way, I promise, she slurred, her voice thick with sleep and regret. I don't need apologies, Chloe, I need your exact location. I demanded, my voice shaking with rage and fear. She became evasive. I'm driving. I'm almost there. I just got on the highway. I could hear the faint sound of traffic, but her refusal to give a straight answer told me the horrifying truth. She was nowhere near, and she was too cowardly to admit she had completely screwed me over. 30 minutes left. I was officially out of time. My hands shook violently as I downloaded Lyft, fumbling the login process, my password failing twice. I finally got in and requested a ride. The app showed the closest driver was 15 minutes away. I was going to be late. A late arrival meant automatic disqualification. Years of work, down the drain. In a final, desperate act, I called my best friend, Mark. Mark, I'm in deep trouble, I said, my voice cracking. Chloe has the car, I can't find her, and I'm going to miss my exam. Mark's office was a 7-minute drive away. He didn't ask questions. He didn't hesitate. Don't move. I'm on my way. He must have broken every speed limit, because his car screeched to a halt in front of my house 5 minutes later. The drive to the exam center was a blur of blaring horns and weaving through traffic. Mark drove with a fierce focus, while I sat in the passenger seat, a cold sweat beading on my forehead. We pulled into the lot with 3 minutes to spare. Go, Mark said, his voice firm. Go past that damn test. We'll deal with Chloe later. I ran into the building, a storm of fury and adrenaline propelling me forward. Somehow, through sheer force of will, I managed to block out the morning's trauma and focus. I completed the exam, feeling a strange mix of relief and simmering rage. It's a terrifying feeling when the one person who is supposed to be your safety net is the one cutting the rope. If you've ever had to rely on your own strength when someone else let you down, share your experience in the comments. Your story could empower someone else in our community. I took a quiet Uber home. The rage had cooled into a hard, heavy stone in my gut. As the car pulled up, I saw it. My sedan, parked neatly in the driveway next to the cupcake truck. She was home. The front door opened before I reached it. Chloe stood there, her face a carefully constructed mask of remorse. "Babe, I am so incredibly sorry," she began. I held up a hand, silencing her. "Inside. Now." Once the door was shut, I demanded an explanation. She launched into a well-rehearsed story about her friend driving, about crashing at her place, about her phone dying and then oversleeping. It was plausible, but it felt hollow. "Why did you lie about where you were when you called me?" I asked, my voice dangerously low. "I didn't hear you ask that." "The connection was bad," she stammered, avoiding my gaze. Every instinct in my body was screaming that she was lying. The story was too neat, yet too full of holes. It was a gut-wrenching risk, but I had to know. I looked her dead in the eye. "Chloe, who were you really with?" The flicker of panic in her eyes before she denied it was all the confirmation I needed. She insisted she was with her friend, but the lie hung in the air between us, thick and suffocating. At that moment, I knew our marriage was a sham. A few days later, the official email arrived. I had passed. I was now a licensed architect. It should have been the happiest day of my life. Instead, I felt nothing but a cold emptiness and a burning need for the truth. I found it on her laptop. She was so careful with her phone, but she'd forgotten about the cloud. She'd forgotten everything was synced. I waited until she was at a local festival with her food truck. I sat down at her laptop, my heart pounding. I opened Google Maps and pulled up her timeline for that Saturday. It showed her route clearly, from our house to the bar, and then a 40-minute drive to a residential address I didn't recognize. An address nowhere near any of her friends. She stayed there until 7:30 a.m. the next morning. My blood ran cold. I navigated to Google Photos. The first few pictures were innocent enough, selfies with her girlfriends at the bar. Then I scrolled further. A man I'd never seen appeared. He had his arms slung around her shoulder, a smug look on his face. Then came the photos of just the two of them, taken selfie style, their faces pressed together. Chloe was smiling, a different kind of smile than she ever gave me. The final photo made my stomach drop. It was her, inside a stranger's apartment, taking a picture in a bedroom mirror. In the reflection behind her, the man was visible, sitting on the edge of the bed, shirtless. The physical reaction was violent. A wave of nausea washed over me, and the blood roared in my ears. She hadn't just been irresponsible. She had chosen a stranger over me, over our marriage, over my career. She had slept with him, then lied, and lied again. I meticulously saved every photo, every screenshot of the map. The love I had for her died in that moment, replaced by something cold and hard. I wasn't just sad, I was insulted. I called the top divorce lawyer in the city that afternoon. A week later, I arranged for the divorce papers to be served to her at the food truck during the peak lunch hour, right in front of her customers. That evening, she stormed into the house, brandishing the papers. "You're divorcing me over the car? After everything we've been through, you're throwing it all away because I made one mistake?" "It wasn't a mistake, Chloe. It was a choice," I said, my voice like ice. "And it's not about the car. It's about the man whose apartment you slept at." The color drained from her face. She tried to deny it, to spin more lies, but I cut her off. I described the photos, the address from Google Maps. I watched her carefully constructed world crumble. The fake indignation dissolved into pathetic, crying excuses. I was drunk. It meant nothing. I regretted it instantly. I didn't feel pity. I felt disgust. "Pack your things," I said. "I want you out of this house tonight." The divorce was a brutal, humbling process. Despite my mountain of evidence, the court was unmoved by her infidelity. In the end, I kept our rented house, but the judge awarded her my car and 2 years of alimony. The faithful husband was ordered to pay his cheating wife and buy himself a new vehicle. The sheer injustice of it left me bitter and filled with a seething rage. For weeks after, I lived in an empty house, writing a check to her every month, a constant reminder of her betrayal. One night, Sitting alone in the quiet, I realized something. I couldn't let it end like this. I couldn't let her win. She didn't deserve an easy life funded by my hard work. She didn't deserve the successful business that my family had made possible. And I had the power to take it all away. I called my Uncle Ben. It was a difficult conversation. He was a good man, and the idea of ruining someone's livelihood didn't sit right with him. "Liam, are you sure?" he asked, his voice heavy with concern. "This seems cruel." "Uncle Ben," I said, my voice hard with conviction. "She is not the person we thought she was. She built that business on a foundation of your kindness and my trust. She shattered that trust and is no longer part of this family. She doesn't deserve to benefit from our name or our generosity for one more day." I explained the full story, the lies, the disrespect. By the end of the call, he understood. He agreed to terminate the lease. He sent the official notice. I transferred him the $500 for the refund. Her panic call came within an hour. "You put him up to this," she shrieked. "You are a vindictive monster. You're destroying my life over a single mistake." I let her scream. When she finally paused to breathe, I spoke. "You made a choice, Chloe. You chose a drunken night with a stranger over our entire future. Every consequence from this point forward is a result of that choice. You wanted to see what life was like on your own? Well, here's your chance." She started to beg, the rage in her voice replaced by desperate, sobbing pleas. I didn't say another word. I ended the call and blocked her number. My lawyer will handle the alimony. When those payments end, she will be nothing more than a bad memory. She chose to set our life on fire. Now she gets to live in the ashes. Taking back the food truck was more than petty revenge. It was Liam reclaiming his dignity and severing the last tie to his wife's betrayal. Sometimes, the only way to heal is to remove every last piece of the person who broke you. What's the most extreme step you've seen someone take after being cheated on? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for being here with us today. If this story resonated with you, please hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss what's next. We'll see you in the next video.